All right, welcome back to BS with Brian Simpson. I'm just fresh back from Denver. Shout out to everybody in Denver that came out to the Comedy Verse. We saw the motherfuckers out there. We did the first Bottom of the Barrel outside of Texas. It was a huge success. You can catch me next in Royal Oak, Michigan. Royal Oak, Michigan, at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, right outside of Detroit on July 25th, 26th, and 27th. Go ahead and get them tickets at BrianSimpsonComedy.com or go to one of my socials and click on the link in the bio to take you to my link tree. And don't forget, that's everything that's coming up soon. What else is going on? Don't forget we do Bottom of the Barrel here in Austin, Texas at the Comedy Mothership each and every Tuesday, 7:30 and 10:30 p.m. If you ever find yourself in Austin, Texas, the show is a real treat. It's definitely worth checking out. Okay. Let me see. Then actually, the next time I'm on the road after Michigan is Philadelphia, September 20th and 21st. September 20th and 21st in Philadelphia at the daggone Punchline Philly. Those tickets are on sale now, September 20th and 21st. Going over there to punchlinephilly.com or go to BrianSimpsonComedy.com and get tickets to that. Same thing, Linktree, all that. All right. Elephant in the room here. Judge Glanville, if you were following the YSL case, like I've been saying, Judge Glanville was recused, even though I think he was let off a little lightly. Like they still didn't, the judge that recused him went out of her way to say that the ex parte meeting was fine. Whatever. I guess that isn't the elephant in the room. Donald Trump was shot at over the weekend. And the funniest thing about all of it was watching all these politicians go, "It's no place for violence." It's like, you violent. Yep, we're the most violent nation on earth. Like, there's no place for violence, in our political, that is what that's them saying, that's politicians say the truth out loud. There's no place for them getting hurt. They'll do all sort of policies and strategies for other people to get hurt. They don't give a fuck who else get hurt. But one of them getting hurt is completely unacceptable. That's what they're trying to tell you. There's no place for political violence. This is a very, and this is a very important distinction that a lot of these politicians made. There's no place for political violence, is what they say. That's what Obama said. That's what Bernie said. That's what Biden said. That's what a lot of right-wing people said, politicians said. There's no place for political violence. Keep in mind, because we got all the other violence on lock. That's all I'm trying to say. It's just weird to hear the leaders of our country saying there's no place for violence. There's no place for. Actually, that's another thing. There's no place for political violence in our country because we've also caused a lot of political violence in other countries, or at least funded it. So it's it's one of those things where I don't know. I think some of our politicians are so disconnected from the past. Like they don't read up on history or nothing. They sometimes they talk like that. Like they have no idea what went on before them or something. That was very interesting. We just learned the name. We just learned the name of the shooter, and the details are kind of sketchy, but apparently he was just a crazy person. They were saying he was registered as a Republican. I don't know if that means he is, you know what I mean? Or I'm sure if you look somewhere, I'm registered as a Democrat, but I'm not a Democrat, Actually, I think the last time I registered independent, which just means you get less phone calls. I get pissed every time they fucking call me. I've blocked hundreds of political numbers or bot numbers or whatever. Call me from bot. Actually, the most effective people when it's an actual person, but still, because it's harder to be rude to a person. It's easy to hang up on a robot. But I'm just fucking mean. Fuck you. Click up. And they probably don't deserve it, but we can't take it back. No take backsies. No backsies. What else is huge? A few other people died completely unrelated to the Trump rally. Damn, it's escaping my mind, but I know a very, very famous person just died. Same thing. Was it a wide receiver? Oh yeah, Richard Simmons died. Yeah. Richard Simmons died, but also a wide receiver died. Right? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Yeah, Richard Simmons died, but Richard Simmons dying was strange for a lot of folks because I think most of us weren't quite sure that he was alive. You know what I mean? Because I remember he went missing for a little while and like nobody knew where he was. And then it was speculated that he was died or missing or something. And so it was like, when he died, it was like, oh, for real? Okay, damn. Well, that is sad. That's sad. But I think I was already emotionally, disconnected from the possibility of him being around again. So it didn't hit as hard, When people die young, I think it's just more tragic. Okay, so it says, thanks for answering my email on your podcast. I heard you talk to Rogan about simulation theory on his show, but forgot what you said about it, so I asked here instead. I have another question for you. Do you think it would be better to have the presidential office? Do you think it would be better to have the presidential office should be a representation of the people instead of electing an individual in the seat? I've had this theory for a while now that it might be better that the evolution of our democracy in this country might be better organized by having the people vote on policy and not people, and the employees of DC should simply be there to implement the changes we vote on as a population. The way to organize this might be by, instead of doing our voting system the way we do now, we do it online instead. Practically everyone has a cell phone, and anyone that doesn't can access a library, police station, firehouse, etc., to access an application to vote on policy as they come up for consideration of change, and to be something that genuinely represents the vote of the majority. I think what you're talking about is referendums, right? Which go to the popular vote. The problem with referendums, right, is that most people are stupid, right? That's how Brexit happened. Brexit was a referendum. Every citizen voted, right? And I mean, the whole purpose, of representative government is because it's impossible for the average citizen to keep up with all the necessary knowledge and nuance of a lot of the political matters. So, if you out there working to survive, right, it's very hard for the average person, even one that's not stupid, to be, to keep abreast of all the relevant issues. Not only that, it's easier to fool stupid people. That's how Brexit happened, right? Is that people that don't, it's easy to appeal to emotion, and so the point was for us to elect, people that were more educated on the matter, or or people that had the time to hear all of the fucking arguments and the fucking data and statistics and motions. And, the average person don't have time for all that. You out there, you gotta work. So that's the whole point of the representative government is theoretically it helps us make more informed decisions because there's people whose job it is to be informed. That's the idea behind it. I don't know if that's necessarily better or if it, and it definitely doesn't work out that way. I mean, most people in Congress don't know shit. They don't know a goddamn thing outside of talking points, but I think it was invented. I think a lot of the founding fathers, I don't think they anticipated stupid people ever making it into government. Right? Government was set up to mitigate evil people being in power, but not stupid people. And now the evil people don't have to be in power because they can manipulate the stupid people. So we don't even know who they are, for real. So I don't think the founding fathers ever saw that coming. I think they saw themselves as the smartest people in the country, and they never once anticipated that somebody dumb could make it into power. So I guess there's pros and cons. But no, I don't think every person should vote on every issue. No way. No way. No way. The average person is dumb as fuck. No. Let me see. We got one more. Maybe he's bipolar. Okay. Dear Brian, I've been going back and forth with a few things, one being whether to write this, but here I am. I'm seeking a bit of advice. Well, I'm the advice champ, sir. I think my partner has mental disorder, and I'm not sure how or if I should address it. If that's enough information, insert advice here. If not, I will go into further detail. Well, let's see what you got going on here. I'm going to try to keep this short. Liar. He and I started dating 5 years ago. It was not long after my breakup with someone else, and to this day, I'm not sure how long he and his ex have been separated. Well, see, that right there that's kind of a red flag. Rebound relationships are going to start with problems. That's just what I observe. Again, I'm not no relationship expert, by any means. But I just mean rebounding because you have unresolved conflict from your previous shit, and you taking all your baggage and your insecurities and all that into your next shit. And then a lot of times what ends up happening is, you still prefer the person you were with before, and you don't understand it. Like subconsciously, you're treating your new person that way. You know what I'm saying? You hop right out of a relationship into another relationship, and what you're really hopping into is good qualities that your ex didn't have. So it's like you end up in a situation where if I put a gun in your head and made you choose, you'd rather your ex had some good qualities from the new person, right? You don't want it's like you're settling for the new person, but what you really want is your ex improved. You're gravitating towards everything they weren't, or some of the things they were missing, but you really just wish they had those things. You don't want this new person for real, and so you're subconsciously treating them that way. Anyway, that's just my theory on it. My first red flag, and I probably should have walked away, was how insecure and upset he got behind finding out I dated others before we became official. Okay. In response, there were bats of infidelity, unconfirmed. Exes popped up and were invited to stay, drug use, and physical altercations. Hold up. Exes popped up and was invited to stay. Stay where? Stay in your motherfucking house? No. See, this is why I don't do all that friends with the ex shit. Ain't no motherfucking way your ex coming to stay no motherfucking way. What you talk about? No, sir. Well, look, we can chip in. We can get this motherfucker a motel room if it's that sort of situation. Because what is it? What are they visiting for? Are y'all niggas working on a cure or something? Why he need to be here specifically? Nah, no. It's got to be something like that. You got to tell me y'all on the verge of some kind of scientific breakthrough and y'all working round the clock. And even then, that's just for me to chew on it. If it's not something of that magnitude, no, ain't no motherfucking way your ex is staying at our house. or at your house. Like, I don't know if y'all was living together when this happened, but X is popping up and then being invited to stay. Fuck we talking about? And doing drugs together? No. No. Physical altercations, okay, you know what? Let's just go. We broke up the second time that it got physical, but found out we were pregnant a month later. Okay, so physical altercations with you. Okay. We broke up the second time that it got physical. Okay. But found out we were pregnant a month later. Oh, please don't. He promised to make some changes so we could do this together, and he did. Things were a lot better for a long time, and then it started again. I'm sure he wasn't back on drugs, but sometimes he would have deep mood swings. One day, we were planning for the future, go on family dates, etc., but the next, he couldn't stand me. It's like he saw nothing but red. His rage was never proportionate to the issue at hand. Sometimes he would even do what I like to call packing up to stay, where he would break up with me for a moment, but then he would bounce back again, never addressing what had taken place, or it would turn into my fault. His mood swings didn't only affect our relationship, but our finances and friendships as well. We are no longer in a relationship. I use the word partner because up until recently, we did have an apartment together, and we have a 2-year-old child, so a lot of our emotions are still together. My God. So you had the child. Okay. I've tried talking to his mom, but her only advice is to leave. Okay. Look, there's a whole nother paragraph, but let me tell you something. Let me make sure I'm reading this clearly. I've tried talking to his mom, and her advice is to leave. Listen, guys. Listen. Ladies. Ladies. Fellas. If they mama tell you they ain't shit, they ain't shit. You understand what I'm saying? Most likely, they ain't shit. If, look, because this is the hierarchy of warnings, okay? If he or she warn you about themselves, leave. If they mama warn you about them, leave and change your identity. You need to make sure you never act like it never happened. Like jury, strike that from the record of my life. If they mama tell you to stop fucking with them, and you don't, you deserve everything that happened after that. If the woman that raised that man is telling you, I failed, he's a monster, you got to get the fuck away from that nigga. Because it sounds here like you want to fix this thing. You can't fix. Look, let me know. I'm gonna stop jumping to conclusions. I'm gonna finish. I've tried talking to his mom, but her only advice is to leave. Cool, check, done. But I'm realistically concerned. I want to advise him to seek help for himself and for my daughter. She's had to witness more than she ever should have. I don't want to take her away from him, but I will. I just don't want to ever become the person he puts all of his uncertainty and rage onto. So back to my question, should I have that conversation? And if so, how? Holy shit. Man, it would be, it's impossible for me to answer this without knowing what's wrong with him. Maybe he bipolar, maybe he got borderline personality disorder. Who the fuck knows? I'm no doctor. But a violent, crazy person, I don't know if they're willing to accept the criticism, this would be a real difficult question to answer, except for Exhibit A. I tried talking to his mom, and her only advice was to leave. Leave that nigga alone. Remove him from your life completely. What are we talking about here? I'm talking like leave the state. Like, put as much distance between you and this person as possible. Having a child with a person that you think is unstable that's crazy work. That's crazy work. That's real agent of chaos shit you got going on there. You know what I mean? That's real cobra behavior. You know, you in a situation. It's like, again, I don't need to know nothing else. You could have just wrote, yo, his mama told me to leave his ass alone. And I could have answered, because that my whole answer is based on that one sentence right there. His mom said leave. His mama said leave. You understand? Like, his mama know the implications of that. His mama know what that means. You know what I mean? She might not, he might not see his daughters. So his mama's factored that in. She might not see her grandbaby. She's factored that in, but she's telling you to leave. Not leave him, right? Because y'all already ain't together. She's saying, get the fuck away from that man. Like, leave. You know, or are you one of these people that, like, you grew up with volatile relationships around you and you think that's what love is? Like, you think you live in some kind of fucking, you know, some kind of movie and you know, or you need this turmoil. Like, you mistaken turmoil for passion. You know, you can have one without the other. You can have romantic passion and constant chaos is not the same shit. Even though they can come together, you know, but this chaotic shit, I ain't with that. You know, like, cause anybody trying to disturb your peace, I don't understand why you would spend another second with them being able to affect your life at all. You know, I mean, what do you mean you don't want your daughter to see him? What do you mean? You know, you don't want to take her from him. Oh yeah, because you were saying you don't want to become the target of his rage by taking his daughter away. But that doesn't make sense to me, because also you didn't say how he is towards the daughter. You know, but it sounds to me like you're more involved. Like y'all are broken up, but y'all ain't, but not all the way. I don't know, man. My vote is get the fuck away from old boy. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You move to a state where you could be armed, and if you ever see that nigga again, you know what I'm saying, you gotta handle your business. I mean, but like you said, you started out, actually another key sentence in this is, I mean, y'all started dating 5 years ago. You saw mad red flags up top. You saw mad red flags. My first red flag, and I probably should have walked away, was how insecure and upset he got. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a red flag. I don't know if that's a walk away. That's more like a check a motherfucker. Hey, we ain't gonna, that's where you guys set a boundary. Hey, look, we're not gonna do all that. This is what it was. Can you handle it or not? Because if you're gonna keep bringing it up, I ain't about to play that. You know, that's where you guys set a boundary. I don't know if that's like walk away, but that's definitely a red flag. But the supreme red flag, you know what I mean? The supreme red flag is mom saying leave. You don't really need me. You don't need me to tell you what to do here. You need to get the fuck away. You know, I mean, and I'm guessing people watching the podcast as I'm reading the letter, like, get the fuck out of there. Everybody paused when I got to, I've tried talking to his mom. Everybody paused. Like, his mom said leave. Yeah. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I just feel that way. But to me, that, like, if I'm ever talking to somebody, mama, and they go, you know, then you know she ain't shit now. But like, my brain goes into red alert. Wow, all the alarm bells is going off. Wow, like it's a nuke coming in. You know what you're getting into. And my daughter ain't. Fuck that. I ain't never had a father do that. You know, but if a mama say, I've seen homies mamas do that. Tell her, you know, he gotta go to the bathroom and go, why you fucking with my son ain't shit ass? You know, but it's something about when you say that to some people, what they hear it's like they look at it like, but I'm gonna show everyone that I see something. I see something that no one else sees. You know, it's like, no, you don't. You're not special. I think I wish a presidential candidate would run on that. People need to be reminded of that. in the grand scheme of the universe, you're not special and you're not particularly significant. You might be lucky in a lot of ways, but you're not exempt from statistics. Everyone believes in this magical shit where it's like, you think you're going to defy the odds. Because that's just, because wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be a great story? It's people that's miserable staying together right now for the story. Because they met cute. And they just stand in a miserable relationship because they got a cute story and they take good pictures. That's wild as shit to me when you hear people say that. When you hear people talk like that. Why you still with them? It's magical, the way we met. I was looking into the lake and he was coming up from drowning and his face met my, like, okay. He still hit you, Allison. You know what I mean? A couple times. Yeah, but you know what to do. You know what to do, ma'am. Leave this motherfucker be. Buy a pistol. Learn how to use it. Go to the range. Maybe that's bad advice. Ugh. If there's some like a professional crisis counselor or somebody in my fan base, tell me if this is good advice that I'm giving. Because maybe I'm definitely missing something. Maybe there's like a battered woman shelter or something like that. Like without knowing your circumstances, I don't know how you should run. But you should definitely do that. You should definitely get away from this person. If they unstable, if they mentally unstable and physically violent towards you, ain't nothing you can do about that. And by not removing yourself, you're just enabling this person, and they just gonna get worse and worse. Like you're not helping. And if you think you can talk sense to them, they mama can't. So that's not even an option. They mama can't talk sense to them. You ain't been able to talk sense to them the whole time you know them, and that's when you was giving them some pussy. So I don't know what you're hoping for here. What outcome you hoping for? Like you think you're gonna have this conversation and he gonna be like, oh yeah, damn, you was right this whole time. I'm gonna change everything about myself. No, it's not gonna happen. What this person needs is they need a rock bottom. They need this kind of behavior to cost them something. But now here's the other thing: how you move is going to determine a lot too. It's a difficult situation, but you definitely got to move. I don't know how you should. That's all I'm saying. All right. Anyway, I think that's the last email that I'm gonna read. See, this article says the German Navy still uses 8-inch floppy disks. Holy shit, man. Are we all doomed? Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I do know, okay, yeah, sometimes old technology means that nobody else can hack it or whatever, but that's not the case with 8-inch floppy disks. The technology is very well understood and it is not secure at all. Oh, yeah, no, that's not true. Because you could encrypt shit back then. But I'm pretty sure the level of encryption you can do on an 8-inch floppy disk, I'm pretty sure it is inferior to what we can do now. I don't think you can have something 256-bit encrypted on an 8-inch floppy disk. I could be wrong, but in any event, somebody busting that if it's really like sensitive data on it. It also is very prone to being destroyed and it's hard to store and it just seems very not German. You hear so much about German engineering, or maybe that is a testament to their engineering. Like, yo, these discs from 1985, they still functional. It was made here in Russia. Made here in Germany. This is from Fox 35 Orlando. Florida woman faces lawsuit code violation after filling storm drain with concrete. Well, hold on, what? People living in the Shadow Bay neighborhood of Longwood say this week marked the third time the streets have flooded like this in just the past few weeks. One neighbor could wind up owing thousands of dollars because of it. Those residents say this problem is entirely new and traceable to one neighbor. I filled in the 2 manholes and that broken pipe because I didn't want any more erosion on my property. Okay. In March, Gogla sent her neighbors a letter saying she believed a drain pipe was installed on her property without her permission. In the letter, she asked for compensation for water moving across her property, saying, I advise you of this because once I close that pipe off, you will have a drain problem that will back up on the road and on your property. In April, she sealed off the pipe. In June, neighbors started feeling the effects. Now it rains and it sits there. The water sits there. It does not drain out of the roadway and it goes into the yards. Court records show Shadow Bay's HOA is suing Douglas over this, and the secretary of the HOA told Fox 35 that the flooding presents a clear threat to life and safety. Well, yeah, well, this lady's a cunt. You know, I don't know. I mean, she was saying her property was getting flooded from this drainage pipe. But it's kind of a cunt move to think your neighbors is going to pay you. I don't know the rules. That's why I don't live nowhere with no HOA. I would never do that. You hear so many nightmare stories about HOAs and people being drunk with power, but it is also true that, like, yo, everything on your property ain't yours. You know what I mean? Like the wires running electricity to your house, those don't belong to you. Sometimes shit got to be on your property. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure if that's the case here. I'm not sure if the storm drain must be located on your property. You know, but without hearing her side of the story, because like if I hear her story and it's a dope one and I'm kind of on her side, either way, this is a fantastic way to get revenge on people. You know, I don't know if this is a confrontation with a specific neighbor and she warned them like, hey, I will block this fucking pipe off. Because that is kind of badass that she did it. You know, it might end up costing her a lot of money. I think the smarter thing to do would have been for there to be some sort of accident. You know, oh no, I didn't mean, when I buried the dynamite, I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like force them to have to rebuild that shit somewhere else. And that would have probably actually been smarter for you to have the pipe extended so that it was off your property. You know? Or have it like redirected back onto somebody else's property and see how they like it. I think that's a good stopping point. You know, it's all bad news. You know what it is, man? It's like that second letter really took a lot out of me, man, because I got so much emotions about it. The kid, the abuse. And I'm sitting there trying to read these articles while I'm still just thinking about that shit. Because that's heavy, man. Being stuck in abuse. That's a, you know, that shit can feel hopeless. And I don't know, I just have so much empathy. And then, but then I also have empathy for people that have, you know, mental health problems that they aren't aware of, that they don't have access to help. That the opportunity to be diagnosed is not there, or they get put on some meds that fuck them up in some other way. You know, so you know, it's hard to tell who to have sympathy for. Now, I mean, no, it's not. No, it's not. I have sympathy for her, but it's hard to have zero sympathy for the other person without more information. That's what I'll say. Nobody wins. The child loses. See, but every time I try to, I keep going back to the mama told you to leave. I would never be able to let that go. I would never be able to let that go. There's no way I could go for, and I have before. I've had a girl's mother tell me, she didn't say leave, but she said, you understand what you're getting into, right? And I was like it really blew my mind to hear that. You know what you're getting into, right? Yes, that was my response. Yeah, of course I do. You know, boy, was I wrong. but the truth is, like, I didn't really know what she meant. I mean, I knew it. I kind of knew what she meant, but not really. I mean, I knew old girl was kind of wild, but I didn't, you know. But from that point forward, I was like, just looking back on that relationship, which was such a disaster. That's the moment that sticks out the most to me of like, they say, oh, don't victim blame. You shouldn't blame yourself. But when it's, when it's that early on and it's a clear, giant flashing fucking red flag and you still walk past it, you got to take something on yourself. That's the moment I always look back like, man, I should have got up and walked out right after that conversation. I should have been gone. Oh, anyway, I would love to hear the update. Please don't die. All right. I will see y'all next week. Don't forget, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, you want advice from the advice champ, email us at BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com. And if you want to come see me on tour, go to BrianSimpsonComedy.com. Like, share, subscribe, comment. And I'll see y'all next time.